A 67-year-old patient came to me on 4 blood pressure medications, and they still were not working. What eventually shifted things was not another prescription. It was 5 things already in his kitchen. I'm Dr. Mandy Thomas. He had not been neglecting his health. He showed up to every appointment, took his pills, did what he was told. What nobody had explained across years of care was that some of the most powerful tools available were already at home. Today, I am giving you those tools, 5 specific dietary changes backed by research that can meaningfully lower blood pressure, particularly for people over 60. No new prescriptions, no complicated routines, just food, working the way it was designed to work. Stay to the end. The last one directly contradicts advice that millions of people were given for decades. Comment below, how many blood pressure medications are you currently taking? I read everyone. Before the 5 strategies, why food matters this much. As we age, blood vessels lose elasticity and stiffen. A rigid vessel cannot handle pressure the way a flexible one can. That stiffening is driven significantly by chronic, silent inflammation inside artery walls, accumulating for years without a single symptom, narrowing vessels and forcing the heart to pump harder. What you eat 3 times every day is either feeding that inflammation or fighting it. Most people have no idea their diet is working against them at every meal. And once you understand that, the 5 changes I am about to show you make immediate sense. Strategy 1. Eat your vegetables first. Before anything else on the plate, before the bread, before the rice or potato, eat the vegetables first. Here is exactly why this matters for blood pressure. The fiber in vegetables forms a physical mesh inside the stomach as it breaks down, acting as a barrier that dramatically slows how quickly sugar from the rest of the meal enters the bloodstream. Every time blood sugar spikes sharply after eating, the body releases a surge of insulin in response. That insulin surge causes blood vessels to constrict, to physically tighten, right there at the dinner table, while you feel nothing. Pressure climbs without any awareness. Same foods, same portions, same medications, just the sequence changed. Vegetables first, protein second, carbohydrates last. Within 2 weeks, post-meal blood pressure readings shift in measurable ways. I have seen this in clinic repeatedly. One patient, a retired teacher in her early 70s, described it as the easiest health change she had ever made. It costs nothing. It requires no special ingredients. Start tonight. Strategy 2. Apple cider vinegar with meals. 1 to 2 tablespoons diluted in a full glass of water, taken with each meal. The active compound is acetic acid, and there is genuine research behind what it does, not folk wisdom. Acetic acid does 2 documented things directly relevant to blood pressure. First, it improves how efficiently cells respond to insulin, blunting the post-meal blood sugar spike and the vessel constriction that follows. Second, and this is the part that genuinely impressed me when I first reviewed the research, acetic acid stimulates production of nitric oxide inside blood vessel walls. Nitric oxide is the body's natural vasodilator. It signals arteries to relax and open up. An entire class of expensive pharmaceutical medications attempts to accomplish exactly that same effect. Apple cider vinegar supports it naturally for roughly $3 a bottle. Important caution: never drink it undiluted. Always mix into at least 8 ounces of water. Straight vinegar can damage tooth enamel and irritate the esophagus. Use a straw if possible. If you have a history of acid reflux or stomach ulcers, check with your doctor first. For most seniors, this is one of the safest and simplest additions available. Now, I want to pause. Every week I break down one cardiovascular topic that directly affects heart health after 60. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications. And share this today with a senior you care about. The next 2 strategies are the ones most people have never connected to blood pressure. Strategy 3. And this is the one almost nobody is talking about because it affects what your blood pressure is doing while you sleep. Walnuts before bed. Most people know to check blood pressure in the morning. What almost nobody discusses is nocturnal hypertension, where pressure fails to drop during sleep the way it is supposed to. In a healthy cardiovascular system, pressure naturally decreases at night, giving the heart and arteries a recovery window. For many people over 60, that drop does not happen. Pressure stays elevated or spikes during sleep, while you are lying in bed believing you are resting, completely unaware. Nocturnal hypertension is linked to significantly elevated risk of stroke and heart attack. Standard daytime readings will not catch it. Approximately 30 grams of walnuts, roughly 14 halves, eaten about 30 minutes before bed, has shown in multiple studies to meaningfully support nighttime blood pressure reduction. Walnuts are among the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3. They also contain melatonin and L-arginine. Working together, these compounds relax blood vessel walls, reduce vascular inflammation, and support the natural nighttime pressure drop the cardiovascular system is supposed to make, 30 grams, 14 halves, 30 minutes before bed. Strategy 4. 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily. By the way, if you want a clear one-page summary of all 5 strategies with the specific amounts and timing, I've put together a free guide I give my clinic patients. You can apply everything in under a week. Link is in the description. Grab it before your next appointment. Hibiscus flowers contain compounds called anthocyanins and specific organic acids that act on blood vessels in a way that closely mirrors a major class of prescription blood pressure medications, ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors block an enzyme that causes blood vessels to constrict. Hibiscus works through a similar natural pathway, and without the persistent dry cough that causes many patients to stop taking the pharmaceutical version. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition found that daily hibiscus tea consumption reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 7 points in adults with mildly elevated readings. 7 points is clinically significant. 3 cups per day, hot or cold, with minimal added sugar. A small amount of honey is fine if needed, but sugar will actively undermine everything else we are trying to accomplish. One important note: if you are already taking an ACE inhibitor prescribed by your doctor, have a conversation with them before making hibiscus tea a daily habit. Combining 2 things working through the same mechanism can push pressure lower than intended. For most people, this is a genuinely enjoyable habit that delivers real results. And the 5th one works through an entirely different pathway, which is why it can still move the needle even when everything else is already in place. Strategy 5. Replace the wrong cooking oils. Walk to your kitchen after this video and look at what cooking oils you have. Canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, corn oil, all are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Omega-6 is not inherently dangerous. The problem is the ratio. For most of human history, people consumed roughly equal amounts of omega-3 and omega-6. Today, the average person consumes 15 to 20 times more omega-6 than omega-3. That extreme imbalance is, based on the current body of evidence, one of the primary drivers of chronic systemic inflammation, the same inflammation that stiffens artery walls and drives blood pressure upward year after year. These oils are also chemically unstable at cooking temperatures. When heated, they oxidize and break down into compounds called aldehydes that research has shown to be directly harmful to blood vessel walls. You cannot see or taste the difference, but the damage accumulates daily. Use extra virgin olive oil for anything that does not require very high heat. Dressings, light sautéing, drizzling over finished dishes. It contains oleocanthal, a natural anti-inflammatory compound, and is rich in monounsaturated fats that actively support vascular health. Decades of rigorous research support this without serious scientific debate. For higher heat cooking, use real butter, not margarine, which is manufactured from the same refined seed oils we are replacing. Real butter in reasonable amounts is a dramatically better choice than the refined oils most people have been using. I know this sounds counterintuitive. The message that butter was dangerous and vegetable oil was healthy was everywhere for decades. But the science has moved forward considerably, and the evidence now points clearly in a different direction. Stop replacing those oils when they run out. Swap to extra virgin olive oil. That single change, sustained over 3 to 6 months, can produce measurable reductions in inflammatory markers and in blood pressure. The common thread. Every one of these 5 strategies works through the same underlying mechanism. They all reduce inflammation. They all support blood vessel flexibility. 5 different paths, 1 destination. Eat vegetables first. Apple cider vinegar with meals. Walnuts before bed. 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily. Replace the wrong cooking oils. The patient I mentioned at the start worked with his cardiologist and made these changes carefully and consistently. 6 months later at his follow-up, his prescribing doctor had reduced him from 4 medications to 2. His inflammatory markers had dropped significantly. His pressure was stable for the first time in years. The first thing he said at that appointment was a question. Why did nobody tell me this sooner? That question is part of why I make these videos. The research exists, but somewhere between the laboratory and the clinic and the kitchen table, the information gets lost. Pick one strategy tonight. Not all 5, just one that feels most manageable. Maybe it is eating vegetables first. Maybe it is checking those oils. Maybe it is ordering hibiscus tea. Start with one, repeat it until it becomes automatic. Then add another. Sustainable change comes from one consistent decision that eventually becomes just the way you live. Your blood vessels are far more responsive than most people realize. Give them the right environment, and they will respond. If you want to start lowering your blood pressure this week, download the 1-page guide. It shows exactly how to apply all 5 strategies safely, with the specific amounts and timing in under a week. It is free. The link is in the description. Drop a comment below. Which of these 5 are you starting with tonight? I read everyone. Every week, I break down one heart health topic that doctors wish more people understood. Subscribe if you haven't. Share this with a senior you care about managing blood pressure. These 5 changes could genuinely shift what happens in their body starting today. Next video, the 7 drinks you should never have before bed if you have high blood pressure. Some of them feel like self-care while quietly working against your heart every night. I'll see you there. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Please do not stop or reduce any medication your doctor has prescribed without speaking with them first. Bring these strategies to your next appointment. They are designed to work alongside proper medical supervision, not instead of it.